In a moment that captivated both the audience and the media, President John Dramani Mahama of Ghana acknowledged the overwhelming reception given to Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, during his inauguration on January 7, 2025. As Traore was introduced at Accra's Black Star Square, the crowd erupted in applause, underscoring the deep admiration and respect he commands among Ghanaians.
Well, I think I want to express my appreciation to my younger brother. And you can also see how popular Mr. President is in Ghana. When he was introduced at the Black Star Square, he got the biggest applause.
The inauguration ceremony was attended by numerous dignitaries, including 21 African heads of state. However, it was Traore's appearance that truly electrified the crowd. As he approached the stage to congratulate President Mahama, the audience's cheers were deafening, reflecting the profound connection between the two nations.
The head of state of the strong people of Burkina Faso, His Excellency Honorable members, the full meaning of Burkina Faso means strong men and women of integrity. We have His Excellency Brigadier General Brice Clotaire Oligui Nkrumah, the President of the Republic of Gabon.
Recognizing the significance of this moment, President Mahama remarked, "You can also see how popular Mr. President is in Ghana when he was introduced at the Black Star Square. He got the biggest applause." This statement not only highlighted Traore's popularity, but also emphasized the strong bond between Ghana and Burkina Faso. The warm reception and Mahama's acknowledgement signal a commitment to strengthening the relationship between the two countries. International relations expert Dr. Vladimir Entridanso noted that Traore's presence at the inauguration underscores the importance of fostering cooperation and mutual respect in the region. Both nations share a history of resilience and a commitment to democratic values. The mutual respect between their leaders suggests a promising future for collaboration in areas such as economic development, security, and cultural exchange. The inauguration of President Mahama was more than just a political event. It was a celebration of Ghana's democracy and a symbol of the lasting friendship between Ghana, Burkina Faso, and other African nations. The warm reception of President Traore and Mahama's recognition of it reflect a unified vision for a prosperous and peaceful future in West Africa. The coming years hold great promise as these nations work together to foster growth and development in their respective countries.
Here is your latest African news.
I just wondered, okay, this is the structure. I did that, and has taken a very long time. The latrine is now. This is, and you there, so it's a real thing. This is it. This is the pit latrine. It's behind the sculpture at the back of the. I don't think Donald Trump is going to behave in any. It's not going to be different from what he was, because he's the same man. He might have changed a little bit, but it's the same thing as I have said elsewhere. A leopard can change its place. It remains still a leopard. So Donald Trump is still the Donald Trump. It's not so good. Donald Trump talked about community from shithole nations, and since I'm an individual within the nation, I thought maybe I should do a commemoration with that. I called it having the Trump's statue, and then calling it shithole, because behind it there is a pit latrine to represent exactly what he said.
Here's the interior. Right, close the door so you guys can hear me. So here's the Urus. All right, so check this thing out. We got the Cybertruck. This one looks a lot cleaner than the first one. All right, guys, so right now we're headed to Mannheim, which is one of the biggest car auctions in the entire US. It's a dealers only auction, so you have to have a dealership license to get into here, but we're gonna go check out some cars, and I'm also gonna explain to you guys the steps in starting a used car dealership business. I'm gonna try and give you guys my personal experience, and I'm also gonna try and save you guys a ton of time because there's a lot that I wish I would have known before getting started, and it would have made my life so much easier. So hopefully this video will make anyone else's life super easy for getting into this industry. This auction sells thousands of cars every single week. When we show up there, you're gonna see they have like a giant lot that's the size of probably like 5 or 6 football fields, and there's gonna be nothing but parked cars. They're all gonna have their keys inside, and we're gonna be able to go through every single one, check them out. I'm pretty sure they don't allow cameras in this auction, so I'm gonna try and keep mine as low key as possible. I'm gonna try and fit it in my pocket just to get it inside. So this auction is actually where car dealers buy their cars in order to sell them to you guys. The prices at these auctions are unbeatable anywhere else. This is literally the best possible price you can get for any vehicle, and of course, like I said, you do have to have a dealership license in order to get into these auctions. Right back here, we have my dealership plate. When you become a licensed dealer, they give you one of these, and you can slap it on any car that you own, and that gives you the ability to drive it anywhere you want for basically as long as you own it. California is probably the most tough state to get yours in, so anything that I'm talking about right now, probably way easier to do in any other state. It's about a 30-minute drive. Let's go ahead and go. I'm alone, I'm a broken home. All right, guys, so I started my used car dealership right out of high school. I started going to public auctions called OPG auctions, and once you buy and sell about 3 cars, California DMV is like, you got to get a used car dealership license in order to keep doing this. So at first I was kind of freaking out. I was telling people, I was like, I'm trying to get my dealership license, and they kept telling me, oh, you just need a ton of money to do it. You're gonna need like 50 grand or 100 grand. And I quickly realized they don't know what they're talking about. I was able to get licensed for $3,500. That was a wholesale only license, and then like 6 months later I upgraded it to a retail license, and my retail license cost me $5,500. So if you're thinking about getting into this, don't be discouraged. People are gonna tell you you need a ton of money, and like a ton of money does help, don't get me wrong, because you can buy way more cars than you'd normally be able to buy, but you totally don't need like 30 or 40 grand upfront capital. All right, so when you're first getting started, there's 2 different types of used car dealers. There's wholesale dealers. A wholesale dealer can actually operate out of their garage. Your garage has to comply with a few different things. It's got to be on the ground floor, and you have to have an office that connects directly to the outside. All right, so wholesale dealers can only sell to other dealers or at dealer auctions. You wouldn't be able to buy a car and sell it to yourself. The only people who can sell to the public are retail dealers. But this comes in handy because if you're not 100% sure on if this is something you want to do, you can get your wholesale license and just kind of test it out. With your wholesale license, you can still get into the auctions. The only thing is, if you want to sell a car to someone, you have to find a retail dealer to process the transaction for you, and they are going to charge you. All right, so to start a wholesale car dealership, you have to have a $10,000 bond. That's the bare minimum. And with that bond amount, you can only sell up to 24 cars per year. If you sell over 24 cars per year, you have to up it to a $50,000 bond. Now, a lot of people are probably like, oh crap, like a $10,000 and a $50,000 bond, that's gonna be super expensive. But believe it or not, it's not. It's not gonna cost you that much money. Your bond price is gonna be based on your credit score. So when I was first getting started, I didn't have a credit score. I was literally like 18, 19, and the first bond I wanted, they quoted me like $3,000. Since you have a year to actually get your dealership license from the time that you take the first exam with DNV, that gave me time to actually build up my credit a bit, and I finally got a bond and it cost me $500. And that was for the $10,000 bond. The $50,000 bond costs roughly $1,000. But the real license you want is the retail license, because even though it costs more money to get, you can generate so much more in sales. Most of the cars that I bought with my wholesale license, I could have made double the profit if I had a retailer license. And one really quick thing you guys need to know is that when you're a retail dealer, before you can sell the car, you have to get it smogged before you can sell it. So that means any car that you buy, you're gonna have to fix up to the point where it passes smog. So if you don't know anything about cars, for sure, this is not your industry. Especially selling like the lower end cars, you're for sure gonna wanna have some experience fixing up cars, or just like knowing what signs to look out for when a car's not good. You're gonna wanna know when a car has like flood damage or someone has cleared the code so you can't tell exactly what's wrong with it. Or at minimum, have a friend or a really good mechanic shop that you go to that's not gonna overcharge you. The biggest difference in getting a wholesale license and a retail license is finding a proper office location. All right, so now I'm gonna give you guys some hardcore tips. If you live in a really big city, the city business licensing department is gonna make you get a conditional use permit, which costs so much money. I live in Los Angeles County and they cost $10,000. But there is a really big loophole. Legally, you don't have to open your dealership within the county that you live in. So I went over to San Bernardino County, found an office, and that county doesn't require a conditional use permit. So literally saved me $10,000. Now keep in mind, whenever you sell a car, you're legally supposed to do the paperwork in your office, so you might have to drive quite a bit of ways to actually get the transaction done and stuff. But honestly, so worth it. And just so you guys know, my office was super small. It was only like 10 by 10. I paid like $500 a month for it. They do also require you to have 2 designated parking spots for your dealership. And there's like a bunch of tedious stuff. Like you have to have certain things within your office. Like you have to have a cell phone, a locking file cabinet, a sign on the door, and then your parking spots have to be marked out. But most building owners know exactly what dealerships need. And they're super cool to help you like get everything together and get your photos sent to DMV. All right, guys.
Well then, I grade. We need ya, oh, hey. I need some
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer. Good for my head, so me call it as the man healer. When me ill, you know me never need a painkiller. It's quite exciting, me call it as the man chiller. Give me good man, so me not think illa. What a inspiration, fit on a sound killer. Fit the pagan, me spark it like a 9 miller. Fi fight the liquor and the coke, ganja and the pillar. That's why me need some herb in me brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chains. I need.
Greetings, brothers and sisters and cousins in the other races who support our struggle for economic equality with the other races. I hope you had a healthy Kwanzaa, especially Ujama Day, and that the new year 2025 will be more prosperous and profitable than the previous year. So I'm just giving a brief update of what we are doing to prepare to plan the Afro-Economic Tube, which is, we hope it will be like a mini YouTube for Afro people, both Continental Africans and Diasporan Africans. So far, we continue to make contacts with people who we think might be willing to participate in the project by making the small investment of probably the equivalent of $100 in whatever currency they can afford. And I'm thinking that would be the minimum and a maximum of probably $1,000 per investor, per person. I'm saying probably because that has to be worked out by, I am going to say, a lawyer. That's the first person I need to get help from, one of our, a lawyer who is one of our own lawyer who can set up that kind of framework, because for one thing, we don't need any money right now. We don't need an investment right now. It's going to take a few months to set up the SMP, the social media platform, and in the meantime, we will. Preparing. We are preparing to plant the seed of this social media platform. But emphasize that this is not a substitute for YouTube. I think YouTube has been very helpful to the African race. Yes, including, I'm on YouTube, and it's so many people who are on YouTube sharing information, letting us see what is happening all over the world. However, we need to have our own. So it's a compliment to YouTube in the sense that we're not encouraging anybody to leave YouTube. Stay with YouTube until they kick you off. Because if you say something that they don't like, they kick you off, and then you can come over to us. Stay with YouTube. Also be involved with the Afro-Econ Tube until they kick you off YouTube, and you can come over and stay with us. As usual, Afro people seem to be comfortable as long as they're getting paid, getting especially some regular source of income from enterprises and activities owned and controlled by other races. Most of us seem to be quite comfortable with that. We don't, not ownership, owning something for ourselves is usually not a priority. So I will continue to to give an update in each video about how this is going. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Let me just add that the people we are contacting are people who we think can be small investors, as I mentioned before, and people who can work as partners, especially retired Afro people, and content creators. Those three categories we are focusing on right now to make contact with them, because the idea is to build a worker-owned company owned by the people who work in it. Some people, of course, will be able to invest but not work in it. But once things are worked out properly, which is going to take, I'm going to say, 2 to 3 months, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months before we'll be ready to start making any serious activities as far as the Afro-Econ Tube is concerned. Okay, bye-bye.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
Green beans from a small coffee plantation owned and operated by a black farmer, carefully weighed by Rafael Brandão, a descendant of slaves who is determined to open a path for others to follow into a market from which they have been historically excluded.
So this business materialized from the pain of slavery. My idea was to establish a company for black people, where we could be the protagonists, not forgetting the past, but no longer being seen as merely a source of labor.
Brazil abolished slavery in 1888, the last country in the Western Hemisphere to do so. Not without irony, among the nearly 5 million slaves shipped in chains to Brazil between the 16th and 19th centuries were those who cleared and planted Brazil's enormous coffee fazendas, some still owned by families who continue to live in luxury. It was this history that inspired 31-year-old Brandão to make a first-step investment in roasting equipment and create Café de Preto, which roughly translates to black coffee. The names of these 4 lines of specialty coffee pay tribute to famous black Brazilian women. This one is named after Dandara, who was an important leader in the country's emancipation movement. Inside his 5-kilogram roaster machine, Brandão carefully crafts unique flavors, enough to make 80 to 100 kilos of coffee per month, which is the limit of his current capacity. For now, he's alone, handling all aspects of the business, from roasting and packaging to logo design and online marketing. But he has greater ambitions. 2023 saw a 38% increase in sales over last year, growth that coincided with an expanding network of black farming families in the state of Minas Gerais, who, receiving a fair price, supply him with some of the best coffee grown in Brazil.
What I'm very proud of is that since April 2022, this roaster has only roasted coffee from black farmers, in a country where some wealthy white families have owned coffee plantations for centuries.
Brandão says he plans to open the business to exports and has already received orders from Germany and Portugal that he believes will allow him to purchase more equipment and hire staff. From plantation to pot, Café de Preto is clearly more than a cup of rich-tasting black coffee. Lucrecia Franco, CGTN, Rio de Janeiro.
Welcome to CCTV News, your premier source for local and international news. From the streets of Kingston to the capitals of the world, we are ready to cover you stories that shape our world. Stay tuned for breaking news. Jamaica, a beautiful island nation in the Caribbean, has been facing a growing concern in recent years. The government's decision to sell off large tracts of land and key assets to foreign investors has sparked outrage among locals who feel that their country is being sold out to the highest bidder. One of the main countries buying up Jamaica is China. The Chinese government has been investing heavily in the island, purchasing large tracts of land, building new infrastructure, and even acquiring key assets such as the Jamaican Port Authority. China's presence in Jamaica has been growing rapidly, with the country becoming one of the island's largest trading partners. But China is not the only country buying up Jamaica. Other nations such as the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom are also investing heavily in the island. These countries are purchasing large tracts of land, building new resorts, and acquiring key assets such as hotels and restaurants. The sale of Jamaican land and assets to foreign investors has had a significant impact on locals. Many Jamaicans are concerned that their country is being sold out to the highest bidder, and that they are being priced out of their own homes. The influx of foreign investment has also led to an increase in property prices, making it difficult for locals to afford housing. The Jamaican government has defended its decision to sell off land and assets to foreign investors, citing the need for economic growth and development. However, many locals are skeptical of the government's motives and feel that the country is being sold out to the highest bidder. Some examples of foreign ownership in Jamaica include the Chinese government's purchase of the Jamaican Port Authority, which gives China control of the island's major shipping hub. The acquisition of the iconic Jamaican Hotel, the Half Moon Resort, by a Canadian investment firm. The purchase of large tracts of land in Jamaica by American and British investors who are building new resorts and developments. As foreign investors continue to buy up Jamaica, many are left wondering what the future holds for the island. Will the influx of foreign investment lead to economic growth and development, or will it price out locals and erode the island's unique culture and identity? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the sale of Jamaican land and assets to foreign investors is a trend that is unlikely to reverse anytime soon. Please take note of the countries buying up Jamaica. China, $1.5 billion in investments. United States, $1.2 billion in investments. Canada, $800 million in investments. United Kingdom, $500 million in investments. Other countries, $1.5 billion in investments. Thank you for watching this video. If this kind of video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.
I will continue reading from the Black Business Guide for the benefit of people who are viewing the video on their cell phone, and the text will be too small for them to read. So, continued from the previous video. The major limitations to Black business success are those attitudes and resources that affect the key economic variables. These limitations are caused by internal economic restrictions due mainly to our attitudes, and external restrictions imposed by other people. Main problem number one, the employee mentality. Before slavery and colonialism, Black people were an economically independent people who owned businesses like other races, and even more than other races. Africans were predominant in owning the means of production and distribution within Africa. They were engaged in commerce across the continent and outside the continent before European tribes began to plunder Africa and its people with the help of some African tribes. At that time, Africa was the superpower in the world. Egypt and Kush, now Sudan, also Ghana and Ethiopia, were some of the nations where the indigenous Africans owned nearly all the businesses and engaged in trade from as far back as 3000 BC in some places.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.